Hello everyone, I'm Jukka and this is Develop a Let's Play of Echoes of Myth. Game I've been developing on 3.5 years. And now in Steam Next Fest. I'm starting here from a new save slot, just with a fresh character. And I've noticed that based on previous experience, it's probably better to just focus on the combat sections and show the combat gameplay with different builds as much as possible without going into any endgame stuff or anything like that. So I'll skip through the dialogues for the most part. Got the tutorial timings tiny bit incorrect. This is just a tutorial area where we get taken after the intro dialogue. Let's see. Let's go with start with the classic melee build for the Katana user samurai. So that was pretty much the tutorial, and this is the point from which any new iteration of the roguelite actually starts. So Echoes of Myth is a roguelite soul-slide where the world is broken, the various gods have fallen silent, vanished. No one seems to know what has happened, and actually uncovering what has happened and do something about the situation is the core mystery and purpose of the game. So just the first tutorial enemies essentially. And the blubber got a little hidden. And it's time for the first boss. Well, mini-boss very much. And it's easily taken care of. Deliberately very easy first one. But difficulty starts ramping from here on out. Like in most games, individual enemies are not really that difficult. The challenge really comes from avoiding hits and making your very limited health last. So first spell choice, I'll just keep picking different options to show. So let's go with the Blinding Dash for the first one, which is for stunning the enemies. Also do some skip some of the mobs, I'm gonna bit more of an AoE action. Okay, I think that I'm gonna... Even if I'm going for melee build, then at the beginning utilizing the different spells available, or range spells, so typically for damage purposes it's still totally feasible. But as you progress in the game, get further, then you build different selections, talents, relics, buffs, and then Forks of Fate start to matter a lot more. So let's go with basic attack damage again. The others were very either kind of purely defensive or more for spell builds. Let's pick up the money. Two types of currencies in the game, as typical for many roguelites that is. There's the essence meta currency and there's the in-run currency of gold, which you can use at shops every now and then to buy healing, different buffs, anything like that. Right here is relic selection. So we chose to come to Fujin relics, has a nice 15% attack speed and decreased dodge cooldown. Actually, since we have 42 gold, let's visit the first shop. No need to buy a potion refill, but also almost could go for major healing. Or maybe it's not quite necessary. Not quite enough to get the infuse any skill or a big talent upgrade. Let's go for the minor healing. Heal most and use one Then one talent reroll token. So if we get a bad choice of talents, then we can reroll the choices at least once. So new enemy types. It's the Fork of Fate level, where at the end you have to choose from one of the kind of three options that are gonna have significant upsides, but also very significant downsides. And then it's the second spell selection. Let's go Parry Shield. Parry Shield is a spell that you can use in two different ways. You can either try to time it to get the typical souls like parry, or you can hold it down for shielding function. Oh, nice. Got the weapon upgrade to +1. So that's a good start. That's a nice damage boost and also helps with the stagger damage. Just avoid the AoE and onwards. Okay, there's a nice little group here. Still can use the Heavenly Strike spell, since at the start it has pretty nice damage even without any specialization into it. And now I'm very happy that I actually got the reroll token. All of these are spell build focused ones, so let's go with yeah, reroll and got the increased basic attack damage again. Okay, let's avoid that guy and Fork of Fate selection. Less damage. Double trouble. Let's have. Okay. Yeah. Significant damage boost, but also you're taking a lot more damage. But fortunately there's Dagda Relic, which increases our HP when we get it. And if I'm wondering, so this is the map for Act 1, and in demo you can get up to here. And, the point is that you need to choose your route when you're gonna go forwards, that is to the right. Each one has a category of reward available to it, and relics, for example, and always or almost always from one specific god, which defines what types of stats they will have available. Then infusion modifications to weapons and spells. So let's increased Katana speed. Bit of a damage decrease, but I think the attack speed increase is totally worth it, so let's go with that. And there's our first major boss, Ishra the Bound Weaver. Not exactly a challenging boss, but you need to combat the greed not to go for too many attacks. I tried to be careful with the dodges, especially since I now am taking 50% extra damage due to the Fork of Fate selection. Okay, next relic. Maximum health. This is actually so much maximum health that let's go with this one. That helps a little bit with the Fork of Fate and the increased damage taken. Okay, here we have a trial challenge. First need to clear the area. Trial challenges are purely optional. Little short challenge trials of some sort. There are several different categories available. This one is about surviving for half a minute in the circle without getting out of it, so you can easily, if it gets too hot, you just run out of the circle and the trial ends. But if you stay inside, you get reward of some essence, some experience, and also a temporary buff for the run. So the first one's not too challenging. But of course, it's easy to take a few hits here and there, and that means that it limits how far into the run you can actually make it. Okay, let's take the buffer mushrooms. Some of these elite zombies still around at this point, but no more. We can skip those and go straight for the mini-boss of this level. So there's the Shroom of Doom. Ah. He casts the little irritating poison cloud. And let's... Yeah. Got the parry, and that makes it easy to kind of do the finishing hits. I have 30 gold. Let's visit the shop, quickly buy... I think I can actually get the +1 potion heal effectiveness. I think that's more useful than anything else on the list. And then we can proceed. This time not really great relic choices. It's in a Thoth, that's purely for spell builds, and Väinämöinen is also, but I think Väinämöinen also has other stuff. It's not as purely spell driven. Oops, that went kind of wrong way. And some of the Sapweavers still around. More... Okay, actually I will pick the physical damage. A pretty almost absurd amount of attack speed, to be honest, when I'm at this point in the game. And okay, chest reward happened to be upgrade to epic. Well, that works very great. Yeah. Even more attack speed. Don't mind if I do. Attack speed really is one of those stats that when you get more, you can really feel the impact very quickly. And of course, obviously helps damage-wise, but especially if you start having any kind of triggered hit effects or something like that, helps with that as well. And also stagger damage, which doesn't really scale with kind of regular damage, but rather has its own thing. Oops. Be very careful. Missed with that one. Okay. Let's not let him use the buff. Oops. Okay. Not exactly great accuracy with parries at the moment, but there he goes. That's worn the Ironclad down. Did we get anything useful? This one has less damage received, so 8% doesn't help a lot, but everything is beneficial. And this is already the last level, home to the Bandit Siblings, which is the final boss of the demo. When you're quite familiar with the game, then completing the demo in a single run, it doesn't really take all that long. But of course, things are always somewhat different than the first time that you are playing, considering it's a roguelite rather, since there's persistent power. Got a parry in. Okay. Last level up before the boss fight. Increased physical damage. Yep, that works. So here is Crow and Ember. one playtester's first comment about the fight was, oh, I wasn't ready for Ornstein and Smoke. Not exactly the same, but maybe in the overall dynamic there are some similarities. Oops. Need to be very careful, especially with the stuns. If it happens at the same time as Crow's spin attack, then you can seriously take some nasty damage. The Minor Guard, subjugated Minor Guard AoE attack, that's another thing to be extremely wary of. But now that it's just Crow alone, it's especially with the parry, it's gonna really easy. Just you have all the time in the world to parry, time the parries correctly, and then after that. Alright, so that's the first run. I'll just quickly purchase more speed, definitely. Increased experience, health, less damage received. Yeah, that looks like a good setup. I just skipped all the hub activities here, since I don't think that's the interesting part if you happen to be watching this via the Steam store page. I'll also skip the endgame systems and the realm distortions, because I think it's more interesting seeing simply different types of runs. Let's go with Greatsword. So this Greatsword is pretty much the Bonk build of this game. Slow, heavy attacks, high individual kind of hit damage, a lot of stagger damage, but you really need to be timing those hits carefully. Still go for that, there's always a little bit of gold here at the start. And the start is zombies. Okay, I got a critical hit in there. Oh, awesome. Got an epic basic attack crit chance to start with, so that's perfect. So the first level is always fixed. It's always the same one, but after that, for the most part, the different levels are I would say semi-randomly picked. It's not exactly full procedural generation in the sense that everything would be created from scratch, but rather picked from a number of different options. Now there's a question, do we go for Fujin or Ares? With Fujin, could get again attack speed. Ares is all about the basic attack. I think I'll actually try to go for the attack speed again. And even if not attack speed, then Fujin relics tend to have actually movement speed, which also makes it runs a little bit quicker. And critical focus. I think Parry Shield is actually visually nice and highlights the mechanics, so let's keep using that one. You don't always get the same options. I think when it comes to special spells, there are currently 5 different alternatives, from which 3 are randomized to be provided as options every time. Although if you have a favorite, whether it's a weapon or a spell, then you can choose to set it as a favorite, the fortune teller in a shop, which just ensures that on any future run you will be presented as one of the choices. Okay, let's just take care of the kind of stragglers here. Can't be bothered with the blobber because it requires you to use magic damage. Initial parry there, for a bit of stagger. Okay, maybe I'm actually gonna need to kill it after all. Just it gets a little irritating otherwise. And parry for stagger. And there was just again a regular stagger. Okay, got it again. That's nice. Swift strike gloves. And this time, let's go for Frost Nova. None of these have particularly good infusions to start with. Go for more gold in the next map node. I think for new players, it's usually best in the early iterations to choose to go for more Titan Essence to buy more currency. Now we can unlock a parrot pet for the hub after finding this. In the full game there will be achievement of for taking the parrot in the runs through 4 portals. And it's quite a challenging one, because the parrot leaves you the moment that you actually take any kind of hit, take any damage. So it's 4 portals that plus 1 weapon upgrade, that's important for damage. And with the blobber there, let's do a few fireballs. Again, then we can concentrate on doing just a pure bonk that defines this build, or defines this weapon really. Yeah, now the boss has his AoE phase, but it's the nice thing about Greatsword, it deals a lot of stagger damage, makes it easier to stagger the enemies. No, this is all spell focused. Fortunately I have 1 reroll token, so let's use that, and got overall critical hit for absolutely anything. And there goes the parrot, since I took a hit. That was the gold, and time for Fog of Fate level. Infusion altar. So we can add an infusion to our Greatsword. Let's see, is there anything good? No, it's... well, increased damage, but reduces stagger damage somewhat. Stagger damage is very useful, but the others would have had even worse trade-offs. And that's the thing with infusions, they often force you to make trade-offs of some sort, since they are about specializing the weapon for some specific types of utilization in builds. Even with the reduced stagger damage, Greatsword still is staggering these early enemies pretty efficiently. Okay, that Frost Nova didn't really do all that much. Yeah, bonk. Increased epic fire damage, yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't really benefit from any of these, since I'm not using the spells at the moment. So maybe this one time I'll go and take the epic fire damage. Okay, Fog of Fate selection. Let's go for increased movement speed. I don't really like the increased dodge cooldown, but I think I can live with that. And this time... okay, this time let's go for Ares, since it's an option. Ares as the God of War. Obviously the relics named from him are very war and melee damage focused. Oops. upgrade to rare. Okay, there was just one common talent that I had, so selection was easy. And time for Ishra. I'm gonna first of the two major bosses of the demo. And Bonk for increased damage. This time he actually had the chance to use the series explosions. You also need to be careful about the life orb, because it stays quite a while on the level and keeps tracking, so you can easily think that you dodge it when she casts it initially, but then it comes around. Okay, rare Blade Master's Might, yeah, that works very well. Relic options, whimsical option, critical hit chance, basic damage and chance to stun, that works. And here we have another trial challenge. So I think there are 6 different categories of trial challenges available. It's a little irritating group. I'll actually take a healing potion here. And this is why Frost Nova is very nice. Helps find the kind of opportunity to get the guaranteed hits in. And actually, often with Greatsword, several guaranteed hits, since the first ones very often, with basic enemies, actually stagger them. So this is the second type category of trial challenge, the gauntlet. The entire point here is just to make it to the end of the gauntlet, navigating your way through these waves of water. And you get a bonus if you manage to do it without actually using your dodge roll. So, there was some extra essence, and now it's time for Shroomer Doom. Let's parry for stagger. Buffed himself and Poison Cloud and Freeze to get the finishing hit in. Yeah. Easy peasy. We already get +1 upgrade than the weapon. Ah yes. So no point in going there, and oh no, quite a lot of money, so let's go for a quick visit to the shop. Potion upgrade, healing potion refill, and there's something more. Let's just go for talent reroll token, as usual we'll have. So we're probably getting a level up or 2 during the demo run still. And another Fujin. Actually I don't really need this one. Since I already have the quite nice item, I'll go for more essence instead. There's nothing there. It's useful to check the side paths. There very often are treasure chests or infusion altars. Everything is nicely punched up, and then bonk, says the sword. And more bonk. Okay. Little gap in combat, so I'm going to level up there. Oh, another trial challenge, and then a different... it's actually the same one. I think that for new players this would have been boon, because it gives several different opportunities to try and find a way to learn the path. But maybe as the developer I need to make that a little more varied. There are currently 2 layouts when it comes to the gauntlet challenges. time for one Ironclad. Yeah. Hopefully the parries go a little better this time. Oh, shouldn't actually have frozen that one. When he does his AoE attacks, it's a nice opportunity to actually utilize the correct positioning to get more hits in. It's much nastier if you are further away. And then it's after the final level. Let's get a bunch of enemies together at once. Get really everything out of the Frost Nova. Okay, that wasn't quite perfect. It was not quite bunched up enough. Very important not to get hit by the stun potions when doing that, because that is recipe for disaster. Okay, here, let's actually just go for basic attack damage. Normally, if this was the full game, I would have gone for the physical damage, because it's good to lock in talents that you actually find. Okay, and let's go for parry, although that was turned out to be quite useless since needed to dodge Ember's AoE. Okay, that didn't hit. Oops. Apparently need to take some healing, dodge the stun potion. Ah. Fortunately got parry on the spin attack. Otherwise, if you don't have... I guess I can try to range with Frost Nova, but those are basically the only easier ways to handle the spin attack. Otherwise you just need to run and avoid where it happens. So I'm playing with the harder bosses difficulty mode. There are 3 difficulty modes in the game overall. For the first runs, there's the regular, easy, which provides some damage reduction, and then just harder bosses, which has alternate versions of these bosses. There's some tiny stat improvements to them, but for the most part it actually tunes how quick the different attacks and everything else with the bosses is. And let's parry for win, yes. So that's the run with the Greatsword build. Lots of bonk. Upgraded healing potion, let's just speed to the max. I don't have heal and level up. Yielding power, yeah. Okay, and there's a parrot pet. Pump the parrot. This time could go for slightly different. Let's go, is there a good base for spell build? Firebolt. Might be tiny bit underpowered with that infusion. Slowed enemies. Well, it's good to try. Hopefully we'll get Whirlwind Slash as one of the options. Haven't used that spell yet in this run. So Spell Sword and Firebolt. So the thing with Spell Sword is it's by default not exactly great as a melee weapon. It's more geared towards being very efficient when it comes to mana restoration. So that's why it goes kind of nicely together with the spell builds specifically. Okay, ranged spell crit chance. Actually, it's... maybe I'll go... reduced mana cost or this one. This one. Firebolt mana cost is not that high to begin with. Will be Caterpillar relic, yeah, that works. First mini-boss. And the playstyle with the spell sword and spell builds overall at the beginning of the game is very much use the spells. And let's go with Volcanic Surge this time. Special spell. Use the spells when you out of mana or nearing out of mana, then use the melee attacks, a few of them, to actually top up. And initially that might be a little bit irritating, but here the build craft, choosing the right talents, relics and everything else actually plays a really big role. For example, you can go for Dynaminer relics. Many of those have mana regeneration, mana restoration of some sort. Okay. Overall crit chance is actually good lock-in as well. So it applies to spells. With Firebolt, the individual bolts don't deal all that much damage, but it is pretty quick to cast. So the DPS of Firebolt, if you can actually keep casting it as well as in a mana per second, is comparable to other spells in the game. Okay, this is actually pretty nice. So we have several options here, or really two. Lava Spike Rest, it reduces the fire resistance of targets, but let's just go for straight fire damage. I think that's better. And in the next level we can get the improvement +1 upgrade to the Firebolt from this one, so that works perfectly. Aha, I think there seems to be a bit of a bug. Camera is closer than it's supposed to be. But let's see. Okay, we could infuse a range spell, or let's go for spell sword infusion, because there are several different very nice variants of it. And for example this one. So that very heavily specializes spell sword to being gonna mana restore support. Much increased mana per hit. So now don't need even close to as many of those as before. But not quite to the point where I can keep spamming. But yeah, a couple of times. And full mana. Oops. Strength of Volcanic Surge as a spell is quick cast, and it has pretty nice stagger damage. So the Firebolt is upgraded, more damage. And let's see. Let's go for another infusion for Spell Sword. Did we get anything useful here? Speed increase. Well, that works. Makes restoring mana even quicker. And of course, since mana restoration is based on number of hits, so multiple enemies hit at the same time, that of course means the mana is restored that many times. Okay, next one, increased spell damage. We can lock that one in as well. I got it as rare, that's nice. And since we got Whirlwind Slash, and since Firebolt has the infusion, it deals increased damage to slowed enemies. Nice, start getting some nice damage numbers immediately. And the build starts coming together. And just a couple of whacks to restore mana. And yeah, spell build is starting to work. And let's next level up already. That was very good with the group kills. Fast cast speed. It's pretty quick and with more mana constraint still at this point. So let's instead go for increase the critical hit chance somewhat and increased mythic 25% increased mana cost. Since we are gonna mana constrained, that is not exactly perfect, so let's just go in increased missing essence drops, even though we're still taking more damage. And oh, now there's Vaynamoinen relic, that works really great. So hopefully with any luck we can basically take care of the mana restore situation. There's a slow and Firebolt's gonna... Alright. So quite topped up on mana. Ah, epic upgrade. That is very nice indeed. So it's gonna increase the critical hit chance. Getting, I think that was 18% increase total from the talent alone. And time for Ishra, the first of two major bosses of the demo. This time with the spell build. And melee wax simply to top off. Get the slow from Whirling Wind. And then Firebolts to utilize that increased damage from slow. That one was sort of missed because we need to keep avoiding those a series of explosions, but yeah. Whirlwind slash kill shot. Lightning damage is absolutely and totally useless because we're using fire damage, so let's instead just go this time raw damage increase. And relic choice... Okay, this is actually very nice. Mana restoration from the ranged spell hit, so every time that Firebolt hits we get mana back and increased spell damage, so yes, that's perfect. And considering it gives +5 and mana cost of Firebolt is 18, so it's down to like a 9 mana cost for the spell. So if this was a full game and there were more relics, you can get a total of 6 on any given run in the full game. And you have chances to I think 2 restoration relics is typically quite enough to have a good mana engine in place. Let's just, yeah, take care of that guy as well. Okay, what do we have next? Bandits. No one there. Oops. Ouch. Nice bit of AoE there. Okay, no, safety potion very much required at this point. Let's take care of the ads. Still, since using other spells, of course, you need to go for those melee whacks for mana restoration, but when using Firebolt it's extremely mana efficient at this point. Spell crit damage, well that works. Since we haven't picked quite a bit of critical chance so far, and quick shop visit. No need to upgrade spells. Just gonna... I don't really need a healing potion refill either. Just quick infusion for Firebolt, and 5 more mana restoration, that's perfect. And just talent reroll token in case we get unlucky, and ready to go onwards. Tier relic, a little bit of, since that was the only relic choice. So at this point, Firebolt is almost almost free, not quite, but getting pretty close to the point where I could start even spamming it, and the playstyle can be morphed to something more familiar from Diablo and so on and so forth, while of course still needing to tackle with enemy and boss mechanics so as not to take too much damage, but otherwise no need to go to melee range all the time. Okay, mana restoration spell on hit, temporary buff as well from that trial challenge. Time for the next boss. It's Varn again. Let's give him slow and then bombard with fireballs. Okay, got staggered. Still gotta be careful. And there's the kill shot. Just go with... sure, seems fine. A little bit of defense. And now we are the final level of the demo again. Safety potion required. And the Firebolt's taking nice care of all those enemies there. So at this point I might as well go for the mana cost reduction. It's a bit of a difference, not that much, but no. The theme of the run seemed to be let's make Firebolt free to cast. Or maybe not specifically free, but rather mostly restoring the mana it's actually spent used to cast it. These guys, I think I picked up right. I have the increased damage taken, so these guys are doing quite a bit. And this time I also don't have parry shield or we're gonna Frost Nova, either of those. So I need to dodge, throw, spin attack the manual way. We can send some volcanic surges that way. And Embrace Gun, which makes throw a formality. Yeah. So there is the demo play with Firebolt spell build. Let's leave it at that for now. Thank you for watching, and go and try the demo. Come give me feedback, join the Discord, and have fun. Bye.